Okay, today it's syrup flapjacks. You'll only need 4 items: butter, golden syrup, Demerara sugar, and oats. Start by weighing out 200 grams of butter into your pan, and also 150 grams of your sugar. Then start to melt your butter and your sugar together on a reasonably low heat. While that's happening, turn your oven on to about 160, just so it starts to heat up. While you're heating your butter and your sugar, remember to keep mixing it, because if you leave it in one place, then it'll start to burn, and you don't want burnt sugar. Once the butter's melted, take it off the heat, just so it doesn't start to burn. And then while you're doing that, you want to measure out 300 grams of your oats, like so. Add these oats to your butter and your sugar and mix them in. Then once it's mixed in, this is where you want to add your golden syrup. If you add in 2 tablespoons, about, doesn't need to be exact, and then mix that in. Okay, so there's 2 and a bit tablespoons of golden syrup. Okay, so once it's mixed in, we're going to stick it on a baking tray. Make sure it's greased up, because then it won't stick. You can use, you could put greaseproof paper on it, or you can get a bit of butter, wipe it over, or a bit of oil, wipe it over. If you're going to wipe something onto it, kitchen roll tends to be a good thing to use, or you can use greaseproof paper to wipe it on with. When you stick it on your tray, you want to really push it into the corners, because if you have air pockets in the corners, then it tends to break up in the oven and you end up just getting little bits of flapjack, which isn't very good. Okay, so once you put it on your tray and it's nicely flattened, this is where you just stick it in your oven. Your oven should be nice and hot now because you turned it on earlier. Stick it in your oven for about 20 minutes. Then check on it. If you still think it needs more doing, then stick it in for another 5 minutes and check on it again later. Because if you leave it in for too long, it can start to burn because the sugar in it gets very hot. Otherwise, you could just risk it and put it in for 25 minutes. See what it's like. So in it goes, like so. Stick your timer on, and we'll play the waiting game. Okay, so after 20 minutes, take it out. You can see mine's burnt down here, but that's understandable because it's thinned out there, which is why it's burnt. Unfortunately, it's a bit blackened around the edges, but seems right. It will harden up after it's cooled, so don't worry if it's incredibly soft. While it's still hot, if you get a knife and you cut it into sections, because it's much easier to do when it's still hot. So yeah, so this comes to the conclusion. There you go, that's how you make syrup flapjack. See you next time.